This is assignment 4 example, or not example, but assignment 4. Use the example code to start this. Changed a few things, added a few things, but the constant char is their global variables. This is my hotspot, and this is the password for it. And I chose LED pin to be 5, and then the pulse modulation setup is on a channel of 0. The frequency is at 5 hertz, and then the resolution is 8 bits, so it can be 0 to 255. And then start the serial monitor at the correct baud rate, and then start by pressing or printing connecting to, and then right after that put what it's connecting to, so in this case the hotspot, and then initialize the starting process with the name of it and the password, and then delay it for a second while and then while it's true, while the status is going on, it checks it, and it just pretty much just keeps checking it until it's true. It delays for 0.5 seconds, and then it prints the dots, the dot every 0.5 seconds until it connects. When it connects, it puts Wi-Fi connected, and then it prints ESP32 IP address, and then the IP address is the Wi-Fi local IP. And then we initialize the pin as the output, and then write it as low, so it starts off, and then another pulse modulation to control the brightness of the LED, and set it up for the modulation channel, which starts at 0, the frequency and resolution, those 3 things, and then for the pin, it's the pin, and then also follows the channel, and then it writes the channel, which is 0. All right, but to begin the server that will help with the space, so we initialize a variable for the Wi-Fi client in the void loop, and it checks if the server is available, and if the client if client is available, or checks it, it prints client connected, and then I created a string called command where the client it just is the reading the string of the client. And then I put another thing in print receive command, and then add the command, so it'll just say receive command, and then it'll put what the command is. Alright, and then more commands to say if it's on, off, 255, 0, and then another else if to command to do a get command for the other thing we're going to use, which is processing, to output the value if it's a certain thing, and then a bunch of initialized variables to help get it to where once the value, or whatever value we put in I can't remember what it's called. In processing, it'll output what we want over here, and then these responses are responses that we're going to get from these responses are responses that we're going to get from processing once they connected. So I didn't do the serial monitor. Okay, and then this, and then type, or you don't type anything, but click the reset button, and it should, I don't know if I uploaded it. Alright, well, while that's uploading, go to processing, import Java.net, which makes it to where we can go to use URLs and such, and then import java.io, which makes it to where we can input commands and it'll transfer. Alright, and then have the string where I put the IP address that I could connect to is supposed to what I get from the ESP in Arduino, but it doesn't work. So this is what you get. These dots will keep going, but it's having a hard time to connect. So I didn't get the IP address, so I couldn't continue. But I'm just gonna explain what I was expecting to happen. All right, and so there's a bunch of variables here for processing. It makes an brightness input has a variable for that, and then key is pressed equals false is basically starting to see if anything is happening, and then void setup sets up a little area with a 400 by 200, and it prints processing starting on there with the background is blank and it's black fill, and then in the middle, and then a text will show up with different parameters. Void draw is that this was initializing all the things for that, but void draw does the background blank, makes it black center, writes out the text, and then if a key is pressed, which means it's true, something will be written which will say key is pressed and then plus whatever the key is, and then another text, brightness input, plus whatever the brightness input is, which is currently set to 0, but if it's inputted. So when a key is pressed is true, it'll print key is pressed plus key, and this is basically just a loop that reads what key is pressed, and whatever key is pressed, it outputs what it is. So for the brightness, there is, when brightness is between 0 to 255, then it outputs the certain brightness and it sends the request by get request, and then this last thing sets it to brightness input to whatever the last thing the loop was, and then I'll go back to the start of the loop. And then this is just in case whenever a key is released, it sets it back to false for the key is pressed to equal false. And then the send request string command here makes sure that the connection is happening and that it's sending out in the right time. And if not, it says something. And this, this is at the bottom if it doesn't work out.